I was halfway through pouring coffee when my son's voice cut through the quiet rhythm of the morning. He stood on his chair, elbows resting on the table, eyes still heavy with sleep, but bright with curiosity. "Mommy, when is that funny uncle coming back? He gave me a toy car and I want to play with him again." The words landed softly. Too softly. My wife paused with the bread in her hand. For a second, the kitchen felt suspended, spoon mid-air, steam rising, sunlight catching on the glass of water. She smiled at him, a careful smile. "He's busy for now," she said. "Maybe later." I watched her face, not searching for guilt, searching for hesitation. There, a fraction of a second longer than necessary before the answer came. The toy car lay near my son's plate, bright red, already scratched from rough play. It was harmless on the surface, just plastic, just a gift. But objects sometimes carry invisible weight. I remembered the first time the uncle visited after months of absence. Loud laughter, casual compliments, small gifts appearing from his bag, chocolate, stickers, that car. My son had followed him around like a shadow, fascinated by attention. At the time, I had told myself I was overthinking. Family should be trusted, yet trust is not blind. It shifts when behavior feels slightly off, when boundaries blur too easily, when an adult kneels too long at a child's level without reason. I had noticed small things. Hand on the shoulder lingering, whispers that made my son giggle but made me uncomfortable. My wife had dismissed my concerns. "You're imagining problems," she had said once, irritation creeping into her tone. "He's just playful." That dismissal still echoed in my thoughts. Now, hearing my son ask for him again, the discomfort returned stronger. My wife walked past me to wash the knife she had used to spread jam. The water ran loudly, filling the silence that neither of us wanted to break. "Do you want to call him?" she asked me without turning around. It was not a request for connection. It was a test whether I would escalate suspicion or let things remain ambiguous. I looked at my son. He was already pushing the toy car across the table, making engine sounds, completely unaware of the adult tension circling him. I realized something uncomfortable in that moment. If I reacted with anger or accusations, my son would feel the disturbance without understanding it. If I stayed silent, the ambiguity would continue. Neither extreme felt right. Instead of answering immediately, I said, "We can talk about visitors later." My voice was calm, deliberate. Days passed after that breakfast, but the question lingered. I didn't confront my wife again. I didn't confront the uncle directly either. Instead, I observed. When he texted asking to visit, I replied politely but postponed. "Not this week. We're busy." It was not an accusation. It was a boundary. He responded with casual disappointment emojis, too casual, maybe, but he accepted. That response gave me clarity. Someone who genuinely cares about access to a child will not push aggressively when limits are set. They respect hesitation. His silence after my boundary became an external confirmation. No arguments. No pressure. Just withdrawal. The distance he created shifted something inside the house. My wife noticed it too. "Did you tell him not to come?" she asked one evening. I told him we're busy. She studied my face for a moment. There was frustration there, but also relief. Relief she might not have admitted aloud. "Maybe it's better like this for now," she said quietly. That sentence mattered. It meant the authority over who enters our child's emotional space was no longer vague. It rested clearly with us as parents. No drama unfolded. No confrontation exploded. But the absence of that uncle became a quiet consequence, visible in the empty space where visits used to happen. Noticeable when my son asked less frequently about him. Children adapt quickly. One day my son pushed the toy car toward me instead. "Papa, you play." He smiled as if nothing significant had changed. The car still rolled across the table. The memory of who gave it faded into background detail. What remained was play, shared between parent and child. Trust, I realized, is not preserved through denial. It is preserved through careful boundaries. I never accused anyone openly. I never declared guilt. But I acted. Power in our home did not shift through confrontation. It shifted through quiet decisions about access. There are uncertainties I still carry. Questions without proof. Doubts without courtroom evidence. They remain unresolved. Yet the space around my son feels protected in a way it did not before. My wife and I do not celebrate that shift. We simply live with it. And when my son occasionally asks about the funny uncle, we answer calmly. He's not coming right now. The question no longer destabilizes us. The boundary does.